Hey, do you remember that time that this like bigwig from New York City took control of the city's politics and used it to like enrich himself and all of his buddies? He did this especially by like making sure that the government would award contracts to like businesses that were owned by his friends who would then give him kickbacks and so on and so forth. Anyway, that's called graft and it's illegal, but you know. The most egregious example was the building of the New York County Courthouse. It was built from 1861 to 1872, right in the middle of the Civil War, by the way. Anyway, it was nicknamed the Tweed Courthouse, named after Boss Tweed, because he was just like so involved in all of the steps and was making so much money for him and all of his guys. Let me just read you a few statistics. Okay, so in the first 4 years of construction, the supervisors, the people that were just kind of in charge of the project, they were able to take $3 million. That's the equivalent of $82 million today, because they took a 65% commission on every contract. The project billed the New York City government $350,000 for carpeting. That's $350,000 in the 1860s. That amount, that money's worth of carpet, would have paid for enough carpeting to cover the 9-acre City Hall Park 3 times over. And yet for years, there were some offices that just didn't have any carpet at all. A contractor was paid, again in 1860s money, $133,000 for 2 days' work on the window frames. A set of 3 tables and 40 chairs cost the city $180,000. And of course, journalists, especially in Harper's Weekly, right, the Thomas Nast famous cartoons, but also the New York Times, were reporting on this going, hello, clearly this is corruption. We need to look into this. And the city went, oh, no problem. We're going to create a special committee on the new courthouse, and we'll appoint 4 totally neutral commissioners to look into it and see if there's any evidence of wrongdoing. And they looked into it and they're like, absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing. Who was the mayor at the time? Oh, it was like one of Boss Tweed's guys. And he was the one who got to choose every single commissioner? Huh. Oh, and then each commissioner on this committee to decide if there was corruption and graft happening, each of them got a 20% kickback from all of the supplies and bills that were sent through, like under their approval. As the New York Times put it, they were describing Miller, who was paid $350,000 in 1 month. They called him the luckiest carpenter in the world. And so Andrew J. Garvey is clearly the prince of plasterers, because Garvey had been paid almost $3 million over the course of 2 years for plastering. Oh, right, and Boss Tweed was so annoyed at his critics that he tried to, like, silence them using intimidation or money. Like Thomas Nast, the cartoonist, he very famously intimidated him, but then also offered him, like, $500,000 to stop making the cartoons, and Nast was like, no, I'm good. Anyway, Boss Tweed eventually went to prison, although he was let out every day to, like, see his family, and so he escaped. He ended up in Spain, and then he was caught again because one of the Spanish guys, like, working at the docks recognized him from the Thomas Nast cartoon. So he did end up in prison for the rest of his life, but